And hello, car lovers, and welcome to the CNC Auto Show. And I am Aaron Clements.
I'm John Ryan.
And our goal, of course, is to give you information that will make your car, truck, or SUV safer, to make it more dependable, and to make it last longer for less money. And we love to take phone calls. The number to call, 706-863-5800. That's Saturday mornings, 8:05 to 10 Eastern. And at that time, you can catch us live on air or iHeartRadio, WGAC 95.1, and watch us live right here on Facebook at the CNC Auto Show. You can also watch past shows on our YouTube channel anytime. And if you or a friend are looking for a good, dependable auto repair facility, I strongly recommend going to NapaAutoCare.com and hit that search box in the top right-hand corner, and you'll find a list of some of the best car repair facilities in the country. And that's at NapaAutoCare.com. John Ryan, are we setting on go?
Yeah, we are. You ready?
I'm going to mention the theme, and then we will go straight to those wonderful phone calls.
All right.
Okay, today's theme is bad driving habits that can damage your vehicle. And, of course, most of you know how important the regular oil changes and tire rotations and just generally keeping the car in good shape.
Yeah, the maintenance.
Well, there's also another way to keep your car in good shape, and that is good driving habits.
Yeah, for sure.
And during today's show, we'll talk a little bit about different driving habits that you can take on that will make your vehicle last longer.
All right.
Okay.
You ready to go to the phones?
Man, I was born ready.
I figured you were.
Let's do it.
Let's go over to Mario.
All right, Mario, and welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Good morning, guys. I listen to y'all every Saturday morning on the way to work.
Well, thank you very much. And what can we help with?
Well, I actually have had a question about my 2015 Tacoma for a while, and I've been kind of waiting to call. But what's happening is when I turn with acceleration from slowing down at a turn, maybe at a yield sign, and I'm in second gear and I turn pretty sharply, it seems like my anti-locking brakes is locking up or something. It's not allowing me to flow smoothly. Now, I have aftermarket tires, 20-inch, bigger, set tires. The truck drives great, but when I turn, it feels like it's not giving me smooth flow. It feels like something manual or automatic is happening in there.
Now, just before John Ryan asks his question, I'm gonna ask one.
All right, what you got?
Is this two-wheel or four-wheel?
Four-wheel.
Okay.
Four-wheel drive. Mario, so what you're describing, you're in second gear and you're rounding the turn, like say right or left, and it feels like something mechanically is slowing the vehicle down?
Exactly.
And you did say that the lights come on, like indicating that it's, seeing a slip condition or something like that?
No, not at all.
Okay, so no lights are coming on. You mentioned that it has 20-inch wheels on it. What about lift or anything like that?
Yeah, it does have a little lift on it as well.
Like a leveling kit?
Or
what size tires?
No, it's got a little. It's got 20-inch and they're Nitto
tires. The reason I'm wondering two things. Of course, when you do the lift kit, you do have to sometimes modify where the ABS wiring harness plugs. The only thing that would throw that off is typically the light would come on, but it does sound like something's happening there, like it's not agreeing with the wheel speed. Do you know if the speedometer was corrected? Did they program the computer to know it hasn't?
No, not at all. And that's something I wasn't aware of either, and I actually even talked to the couple of people about
right.
The oversize of the tires is going to cause that speedometer to be off, and it is. It's off by about 7 miles an hour.
Well, so that's kind of like my thinking behind it. If you're taking that turn, like roughly what speed would you say the speedometer is when you're taking this turn? And 10. It does it, 10. So say you're going 17 miles an hour with the increase of the tires. It may just simply think you're going too fast for that turn. That vehicle does have the VSA.
Anti-lock.
Yeah, right, the anti-lock. And there's a yaw rate sensor in there that monitors how much lateral forces going side to side and, of course, front to back. And if you're turning too fast, it very well could slow it down, especially on some of these newer four-wheel drives because, of course, they have a higher tendency to tip over and stuff like that. So that would be my first thing that I was thinking. The other thing would be, of course, it'd be a great idea to scan the trouble codes in that system and see if anything's present. Because a lot of times, like say if a wheel speed sensor was dropping in and out, it could have. He definitely has mud tires. I hear him.
Yeah, that was
A lot of times if a wheel speed sensor is dropping in or out, of course, the light may not illuminate because it may think that wheel is slipping or spinning or locking up. So it'd be a good idea to have that scanned also, just to make sure.
On John Ryan, John Ryan, is that a model that transfer case can play any part in that as he's turning, or is that one?
No, because it is a selectable one.
Okay,
right.
that's what I was thinking.
It's not an all-wheel drive.
I just wanted to be sure.
Right, yeah. So I guess the two things are, check into getting that speedometer recalibrated so that it's, of course, correct, and then have the system scanned. Now, I will mention that most of your, a lot of the parts houses that will pull codes for you, they will not access that module that needs to be, I guess, accessed. It's simply because it's more in a different direction than the engine. The ones that the parts houses can scan really are scanning only the engine computer.
Well, I need the tires rotated and balanced anyway, so I'm just going to bring it to y'all if y'all don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine.
Y'all check it out for me. I work downtown in downtown Augusta, so I'm right around the corner from you.
That'll work.
All right, guys.
Fantastic.
Thank y'all so much for your help.
Thank you for the call. And the number to call is 706-863-5800. And ready to go to the next caller?
Yeah, we got a few minutes before a break. Let's go over to Michael.
I think we can do it. Hello, Michael, and welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a 2006 Ford F-150 and took and replaced all the plugs. It'd been a long time since they'd been done. And all new coil packs on it. It drove fine for a couple of days, and then it started skipping and sputtering again. Took it to the auto parts. They put the scanner on it and said that 4 and 5, they said D and E. I assume that was 4 and 5. So I got 2 brand new coil packs, put those on there, and start up and still skipping, take it back. They put the scanner on it, still says 4 and 5 are misfiring. So if you put new coil packs on it and that doesn't clear it up, I'm kind of at a loss.
Michael, what kind of plugs did you put in? Spark plugs?
Motorcraft,
good. The reason I ask is we've seen some issues with some of the aftermarket ones. Some of them, not mentioning any names, but there's some aftermarket plugs that just really don't like those Triton V8s. That's a good thing that you put the Motorcraft in there. The codes that you said D and E.
Yes, sir. They use. I'm sorry.
No, I was just not familiar with that. Normally it's a P030 whatever cylinder
Just say what number cylinder it is.
Right, not really familiar with that. Regardless, the cylinders that are misfiring, did you do the tune-up yourself?
Yes, sir.
Are the locking tabs still intact on the coil connectors? You know the little tab you depress and pull off?
Right, I know it. There's one of them. It probably didn't. I may have not got it totally engaged.
The reason I asked that question is because this is a call or a scenario that we see at the shop quite a bit, and there's nothing against doing your own tune-up. Of course, I would do it myself too, but a lot of times when those coil connectors break, they look like they're all the way on, and when that tab breaks, it doesn't allow that coil to fully, or the connector to fully seat on there. Now, of course, they do sell the pigtails to repair that, but the most important thing is making sure that is what the cause is. There's several different ways of doing it, especially from a technician standpoint. You could put a scope on it, see what the coil is firing and everything, but the easiest way is to have a scan tool that has bidirectional control, and you can actually watch the power balance. That way you can actually see that misfire.
And also
Michael,
you'd be able to check for things like O2 sensors and such.
Yeah, Michael, we're going to go to break. Do you mind holding on?
Sure.
All right.
All right, it is time to take a break, and when we return, we will be talking more with Michael about his problem with the 06 Ford truck, and plus we'll be giving some great tips about driving in a way to where you can make your car last longer. That and a whole lot more with the CNC Auto Show as soon as we return. Welcome back to the CNC Auto Show, and we were talking to Michael about his 06 Ford truck. Michael,
right.
welcome back.
Yes, sir.
All right, Michael, you were talking about you had a misfire. What cylinder did you believe it to be?
4 and 5, because they were going, A, B, C, D, E, and
Right.
that's the way. They use a Bosch scanner,
Scan tool.
and I'm just assuming that's why it goes A, B, C.
Yeah,
Right.
that stuff kind of complicates it a bit.
Yeah, it does. and two, Michael, you may not know this, but or you probably do. The cylinders are 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the other
Right.
side, the rest, which is
Right.
completely different than most vehicles. Of course, it's normally 2, 4, 6, 8, and 1 through 5, 7. But so that can make it off, tricky too. So the most important thing is finding out what cylinder is misfiring. A
Right.
technician, what they would use is a scan tool that also reads a data PID that's really awesome, and it's kind of really helped Ford's diagnostics. It's called Mode 6 Diagnostics. And there's a little PID in there that says 53, and basically what that is the misfire events that have happened in the last drive cycle. And Ford's of course a great vehicle, but as far as the ignition system, you could take a coil out, throw it in the glove box or throw it in the trash, and it still wouldn't set a light. Yeah. And they've had some issues as far as diagnostics. So Mode 6 helps out a lot with that.
They did that to cut down on customer complaints of check engine lights going on.
They couldn't take the bulb out, so they just what do you say, desensitized?
Yeah,
it?
went to desensitize or sensitivity training.
Sensitivity training. So the most important thing is finding out what cylinder it is, because again, if they're pulling a code for D and E or whatever it is, that doesn't necessarily, it doesn't tell me anything, and it may be just because I'm not familiar with that particular scan tool, which you may be right. It may just go down just numerically with the alphabet. So that would be the most important thing, and then check those coil connectors really, really close. Again, if those tabs break off, a lot of times the piece that broke off is still in the connector, so it slides on there, but it's actually not making good contact, and it may run, idle fine, but then under power or under load, it'll skip just simply because it can't, create enough power going across the coil. So those are the tips we have for you.
It just seems like I say, I can, first thing in the morning, it'll crank up, drive fine, and then it just takes a time to,
Right.
start cutting up.
The only other, there's a few other things. Of course, there's time and chain issues on those trucks. The good thing that if it is indeed 4 and 5, that would be 2 different banks, so that kind of rules out the timing thing. Normally, the codes are misfiring, say for 1 through 4 or 5 through 8, so that's a good thing. So we'll rule that out. And then the only other thing I can think of is a catalytic converter, but there again, the converters have been notorious for stopping up and of course causing too much back pressure and misfires and stuff like that. But there again, it's still only going to be on one
I was
bank.
thinking vacuum leak, but that would be a lot worse cold. And
Yeah, it'd be a lot
not
worse
doing it
cold.
cold, and that's not going to be it.
That particular manifold's pretty good about not having vacuum leaks. Just the coil. What brand of coils did you put on it, Michael?
It was the store brand, MTDs or whatever it was.
BWD maybe?
What if he was to
There
switch
you
some
go.
coils, the
Yep.
coils that are supposed to be doing it?
Yeah, you could definitely do that. Just a quick test, like Aaron mentioned. You could, of course, take the coils from 4 and 5, if again that's the cylinders it is, and move them to a different cylinder and see if it continually goes back to that. Now I realize you said the first time it was those coils, you put 2 more on there, so assuming that it's going to stay on that cylinder. By any chance, you don't remember any codes that said circuit code, did you?
Well, like I say, I didn't do it.
Right.
They put the thing on there, and it kept, and that's, as far as they know, well, it just says 4 and 5 in New York.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's,
They have
kinda
limited
fluctuating.
diagnostic capability. If it's like at a parts house place, that's normally not
sir.
a scan
I
tool.
don't
that-
like calling it diagnostic
Yeah,
capability.
it's
at all.
really not diagnostics. It's just more reading codes and
Right.
saying what the code is reading. So, yeah, and that's correct, John Ryan, when you mentioned that's not really diagnostics.
right.
And,
That's simply pulling the codes. You
yeah,
can-
and it'll let you know what it's like if you was going on a trip. It'll let you know what state you're going to, but it won't let you know what city or street or any of the other
and it
stuff.
sure won't take you to the front door.
No, I'll take you to the front door.
So,
so I guess to clear this up, you're going to have to go to like a shop or something, basically.
and Michael too, one thing being that you're capable of doing the work yourself, simply just ask them, this is what I'm interested in doing. I'm interested in finding out what cylinders are misfiring and what's causing it. I'll do the work. That's perfectly fine with most shops. So
Yeah, most shops, if
they'll
you're
save you
paying for
some money.
diagnostics, you own that information. I mean, and if they were to say, well, this is this coil, or this is this connector, or this is where this injector.
Right.
A lot of shops, a whole lot of shops will say, yeah, this is some tips on how to do it. If you're going to do it yourself, this is what you do, and these are some of the things to look out for.
It's not uncommon for us to print up, the diagram for it or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Just here to help.
But you may save money in the long run to go ahead and have someone with all the equipment there, and a lot of times don't necessarily think that you're not good at what you do because you can't do it. But it's kind of like repairing something with blindfolds on. If you can't see those areas of the computer, you really have no way of finding the problem.
Right, and John, don't want to make it sound too, or Michael, don't want to make it sound too easy, but a technician with, say, the Ford IDS, they'll put it in there. They'll pull up, data stream. They'll pull up the codes in mode 6 and probably find it right there and then. And then, of course, if they have the IDS, they can put up the power balance, which is a little data graph of the cylinders firing, and go drive it, and it'll show the cylinder dropping out. Like I said, I don't want to make it sound too easy, but that's the process. And, of course, it's a lot harder in the driveway when you're swapping this, swapping that, and, kind of keeping track of where that coil went and that kind of thing. So it may be money well spent for you.
Oh, I understand. Being in the plumbing business and people, I can fix it myself. And just, you can if you know what you're doing, but sometimes
and that's what happens to me all the time when I'm trying to do my stuff at home.
Michael, that's when you see hose clamps on copper, isn't it?
After about 2 days, I finally call somebody and say, hey, can you come repair this plumbing problem for me?
I remember at one time Aaron and I took apart his AC at his house, and we just took it apart. That was it. There was no fix. So, Michael, hope that helps.
Thank you a lot.
All right.
Thank you, Michael. I hate to mention this to John, but if John would just hold on just a little bit, we're going to need to take a real quick break, and as soon as we return, we will go straight to John and answer his automotive questions. And along with those, I'm going to mention one real quick driving habit tip, and that it is to be gentle.
Yeah.
That's just it. Don't, when you're pushing buttons inside your car, don't poke the buttons. Just kind of gently
that
push
car
on
has
the
feelings.
buttons. When you're turning the knob, don't yank the knob, twist it. Be gentle with it. When you take it off of a red light, it's not the Indy 500. Just kind of take off a little easier and stop a little easier most of the time. Doing little things like that, just being a little bit gentle, will definitely make your car last a lot longer. We'll be right back just after these messages with the CNC Auto Show. Welcome back to the CNC Auto Show. And not using a parking brake forces the entire weight of your vehicle to rest on the parking pawl, which is a little piece of metal inside the transmission. And doing this could cause the parking pawl to wear, especially if you're parked on an incline or a decline. So if you park on a hill like that, it's a good idea to use it anyway, but especially if you're on an incline, decline. If you're using a manual transmission, I'd highly recommend it. If you don't, you might come out and find your car in a different area than where you parked it.
You forgot to mention one of the most important parts about a parking brake.
What is it?
If you use it on a automatic car, on an automatic transmission car, it saves, or not saves, but adjusts your rear brakes at the same time.
Oh, yes.
That's why a manual transmission vehicle's rear drum brakes last so much longer, because you have to use the parking brake every single time.
Very nice.
On an automatic, if most people don't use it, so they never really adjust with the parking brake.
And of course, they're making it easier now. They're making the electric parking brakes now, to where you just push the button and the parking brake's on, and when you put it back in drive, the parking brake releases in a lot of cases.
That's for people like you that forget to take it off.
Exactly.
All right, let's go over to John.
I am ready to go. John, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Aaron. I'm going to come see you here in a couple of weeks, get my car ready for a little trip, and I just called to make sure you have some coffee and bacon and eggs and stuff ready.
Absolutely. We're going to have everything you need. It's going to be ready, and I'll go ahead and ask, where are you going?
I'm going out to Colorado.
Beautiful.
Didn't you say little trip?
Yeah, that's a fairly nice trip there, John. That'll be very nice.
I know you were in the Air Force, and I'm sorry to hear that, because I'm a retired Marine, but I'm staying at the Air Force Academy.
Okay, well, you're staying in a good spot then. That is very nice.
And now my question. My grandson has no desire to go to college and, according to him, learn stuff he doesn't need.
Mm-hmm.
But he has shown some interest in automotive. What advice do I give him on how to become a good quality automotive technician.
Oh, John, I don't think I could have asked for a better question than you're asking right now, because that's something that I love talking about, and I love being able to give some ideas on. As a matter of fact, just 2 weeks ago, I met with about 5 young men who were graduating from automotive
Technology
programs from their high school. And they had just gotten back from a big trip, and this particular one was in Atlanta, to where people from all over the country come in, and they competed in contests.
Skills USA?
Yes, Skills USA. Wonderful thing. And this particular group, they were most of them from Harlem High School. I want to give those guys a shout out. I wish I had their names handy. But they placed very nicely in a lot of the, they brought back the gold. I'll put it that way.
There you go.
They did really
Good for them.
And yes, so automotive repair has it's a really neat industry to get into, and there is a lot of skill involved. And one of the best places to start would be of course, if you're able to take an automotive class in high school, that's really good.
Right.
But also, there's different facilities around the country. There's automotive tech school, technical college. In our area, it's Augusta Technical College. I'm a member of the advisory board. That is a great place to build a good foundation. Now, what you do is you mainly learn the foundation to build on when you're there, like the basics of how everything works.
A lot of theory, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of theory. And then after that, hopefully what they'll get from there is a thirst for knowledge. That's huge, because when you have that, you never stop learning, because that's what's neat about the cars is they're continuously adding new technology to them, and it's almost like a big rolling computer. And it can be a very, very nice industry for people to get into right now. Some of the strongest areas that I see in the automotive industry has to do with electronics, and that's that's computer diagnostics on cars, and it is
and the programming side of it and stuff like that.
And I would encourage anyone that has the desire, but the gentleman has the main item that it takes to be a good technician. And that's a strong desire and a love for cars.
Right.
If you have those, you will do well. And I still have that. Even I've been working on cars for almost 6 months now. And no, I've been working on cars a long, long time. And I still have that love for cars. Like when I get off work and get my little Mazda Miata, and the top has been down for 3 days now.
Yep.
I hadn't even put it up. And I'm driving it. I still love driving it and just feeling the engine go. And I've grown to the point in my life to where I love a manual transmission again.
Yeah,
it just brings back the driving thing. And all of this stuff, you have to have a love for cars to be a good technician.
That's
I feel like. But great choice, and I would be very happy if he decided to either call me or talk a little bit or anything that I can do. But go to as many classes as possible, and even after he starts working at a place, try to work at a place that they believe in training, and just continue to go to those classes. We go to a lot of classes at night,
right?
And we learn a huge amount to stay current with the cars.
Well, thank you very much, Aaron. I appreciate that.
John, thank you. And again, that was a great question. I appreciate it.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye. Okay, the number to call is 706-863-5800.
All right, Aaron, you ready to go to Tim?
I'm ready to go to Tim. Hey, Tim, welcome to the show, and what can we help with?
Good morning, Aaron. I appreciate you taking my call. I really don't have a repair question. I'll just run this by you guys. You're experts in everything automotive.
Uh-huh.
I've got a 1953 Ford F100 pickup truck. I bought it for my grandfather in '73.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm looking for a '53 flathead motor to go back in it.
Uh-huh.
I want to put it back original, and I have looked. I found one, but it's in California, and it's $6,500. I said, my wife said, no, we're not going to do that. So So I'm looking.
Let me see, Kids College flathead motor. What we gonna do here?
But when I bought it, it had a flathead in it, and my dad. I drove it for a few years. And I gave it to my dad for a few years, and a few years for like 35 or 40 years. He gave it back to me Father's Day 2 years ago. And it's got a 54 Y block in it. The first year they made overhead valves. Which is it's a year. It's the same era, but I want to go back with a flathead to keep it original. I love the flathead. I love the way it sounds. I love the way it looks, and I just want. I'm looking for those things are hard to find.
Right now, another great question, John Ryan. This is amazing. One of the things, especially this time of year, this time of year is really neat. It's a great time for car shows.
Yeah,
I mean the weather is just nice, and they're having them all over the place. One of the main things that I recommend to anyone that is even considering restoring a car, just has a love for cars, or anything to do with that, is go to these car shows and get to know these people. And for instance, with a 53 Ford pickup flathead in the Augusta area right here, I would be recommending the Gas Car Club and Georgia South Carolina Car Club. It's a group of members, and they get together and they just share ideas on cars, and sometimes they'll show their cars, but also they'll work back and forth. They have monthly meetings where if one person is looking for, say, a flathead for his truck, some of them might say, yeah, I was able to buy one here. I know John.
And they have a lot of network connections. They might know someone, not far from us.
Yeah, some of those guys have been building these cars for the last 20, 25 years or more, and they know all of the things that you can go through and ways to get things at a better price, who to go to get what done. And so I would definitely strongly consider finding a good car club to be a part of and go network with them. And you may be able to help somebody at their club by something you've run into. And plus, they'd be very interested in seeing your truck. I have a 58 Ford truck that we're going to be restoring. It's got a 6-cylinder engine, and it's been on a farm. It runs, and
you can put all Chevrolet powertrain in it.
Yeah. but yeah, and that's what I've been doing. I've been getting to know these people so I can get some ideas from where they buy what, and different ideas on service them. So that's what I would recommend in that case.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. I've been to the Coffee and Cars thing several times, and I kind of feel intimidated. I parked my truck way back in the back of the parking lot, and I'm kind of embarrassed. But, those guys, everybody there is like a great big family, so I'll get together and go into those guys.
Coffee and Cars has about 500-600 people. You can find a lot of other smaller car shows too that you could get to know a lot of people at those also. A lot of good events. Just in that, I want to say that to everyone listening in other places also, is if you love cars, go to some of the car shows. You'll enjoy it.
All right, so I sure appreciate it.
Thank you, Tim. And it's time to take a break. As soon as we return, we will go to Bill, and we will also talk some more about different things that you can, driving habits that can make your car last longer. We'll be right back just after this. We are back with you with the CNC Auto Show. Sometimes it's a little difficult to fill the tank up all the way with fuel, but try to avoid just putting a few dollars in at a time.
Yeah.
Running your tank low in fuel a lot of times will cause the tank or the fuel pump to overheat.
Yeah.
That fuel around the pump is what keeps it cool. And
and two, it's just you put $10 in, you just get to the next gas station anyways.
Yeah, your fuel pump don't last as long.
Right.
So try to keep it at least about a quarter of a tank, if you would. Just pretend a quarter is empty.
There you go.
And then it'll work out good. Okay, you ready to go to the caller?
Yeah, let's go over to Bill.
Hello, Bill, and welcome to the CNC Auto Show. And what can we help with?
Well, hey, Eric and Big John, I was listening to you talking about the Augusta Tech Automotive course, and I just wanted to expound a little bit because I actually attended that course, and now I'm a graduate of West Point with a mechanical engineering degree. If you want to talk about theory, that's theory. But let me tell you, at the school, they had me do, I'm 63. They had me doing everything. I was pulling engines and playing transmissions and fixing the front ends and getting my hands all greasy. I wanted to learn the new stuff on cars. You know, I grew up messing with the old Mustangs and the Corvettes of the 60s and the 70s. It's probably making a lot of people drool right now. But anyway, I enjoyed the course. I mean, we learned everything about the PCMs and ECMs. I was eating M&Ms at the same time. So I just wanted to thank you all for talking about it. And if you guys, if anybody's listening, you got kids or want to go back, I mean, the two instructors, Chris Bryant, Chris Davis and Taylor Bryant, they're the best people in the world. So thanks for talking about it, and that's all I got.
Oh, thank you, Bill.
Yeah, appreciate
Great
that.
comment. And I will add to that just a little bit, those that are looking for an automotive career. The automotive industry is a good career path to take at this time. You learn so much. There's good pay.
Right.
These shops have good benefits, and a person can make a very good living and enjoy what they do.
Right.
Working with cars. So I highly encourage anyone that loves cars and interested in that to get that training that they need, because that's a must as far as going to the different schools. One of the things that I like about a lot of the different going to a technical college of some kind, and there's some larger colleges like some in Nashville and different depending on what path in the automotive industry you might be going into. There's diesels and
there's collision, there's motorcycle, there's all kinds of stuff.
A lot of these that you can go into. But you want to choose the school that you plan to attend very carefully, and you'll find that a lot of these people will send out recruiters to talk to you and do a lot of different things to try to get you to go into certain industries or that part of the industry when you come in. So great deal to do. Okay. We're going to talk a little bit more about different driving habits that can make your car lasts a lot longer. One driving habit is to try to, from time to time, just listen to your car.
Yeah, just pay attention to it.
Yeah, so many times we're driving, we have these wonderful sound systems that are up, and we have all the other things that are going on around the car, and we never really even listen to what's going on around the car or look that closely at different trouble lights that might be on.
That's right.
So you, from time to time, just cut the radio down and drive and listen for anything unusual to do with the car. Look for any lights that might be on that you didn't notice. Some of the little indicator lights now are very, very small. Like we had one that just yesterday come on. It was part of the collision avoidance system, but it was just letting us know that the front radar detector was not working. And very, very small indicator let us know that. And I wouldn't have been looking close.
There's also some even overhead messages, in different consoles above the on the headliner. Some of them say, service vehicles. Some of them say check this, check that. So just
exactly.
Like you mentioned,
just get to know your car just a little bit and look for these things that may pop up and catch problems before they get there.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. All right, Aaron, we got a few more minutes. Let's go to Fred.
I think that'd be a good idea. Hello, Fred, and welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Hi, how y'all doing?
Doing very nicely, and what can we help with this morning?
Well, I got a 96 Jeep Cherokee Laredo. It's got the 4.0 and the automatic. It don't slip. It pulls fine. But I think I got trouble in the valve body with the shifting. And I wondered if y'all handle anything like that or any idea what I could do to get this. Because what it does, it jumps back and forth out of first and second when it's cold. And if I go to pass somebody and it jumps back to second, I got to park the thing for about 15, 20 minutes before to go into overdrive or a third gear.
Yeah, Fred, there's two or three things that could be. That vehicle does have a throttle valve cable. If you look out there on the throttle body, there's two cables. Those cables are notorious for falling off, and it would not give you a passing gear. So definitely check out there. There's some adjustments that can be made to that if it is, of course, not adjusted properly. That's the most common thing that I can think of, though, definitely the cable.
Well, I got passing gear, but once I hit passing gear going down the road, it don't want to shift back up into third gear or overdrive. It stays in second. And I got to park it about 15, 20 minutes. What I think happened is one of the balls or something was sticking in the valve body.
That's definitely.
I think you probably very close to being
yeah,
right.
I misunderstood you. I thought you were saying it won't come out of overdrive to passing gear.
No, it does that real well. It just don't come back over.
And of course, things like that, there is a chance if the fluid looks a little dirty,
Right.
there is a chance that doing a transmission flush or total fluid exchange may very well help it, because if trash is in the system and you're able to get that trash out of there,
Right.
and it don't stick anymore, but there is a chance that it may need actually some type of disassembly to go in and repair the issue.
What I forgot to mention was a couple months ago, it put the filter shut, and I had to get a new filter and all put in it, and it's been acting up since then. And I got a feeling maybe that had something I forgot to mention. That
Yeah, now when the filter was changed, did they do just a filter or did they do a fluid exchange afterwards?
They did just filter. Unfortunately, they told me that they don't like to change fluid, and that kind of bothers me, but the guys been doing transmissions for years and thought they do so.
Yeah. I'm a little hesitant on only changing a filter if the fluid itself is old, because then you're putting new fluid on top of old fluid after that. But with you telling me that, though, it lets me know that there is a chance you may very well benefit from the total fluid exchange.
Right.
That sounds good. 'Cause I mean, the next thing I heard was, no, we got to rebuild the whole transmission. And I'm like, it's not flipping and it's not doing anything wrong. It's just they don't know
It's
how
a
to
flow
shift.
problem, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Exactly. Last question, and then we'll go. How many miles on the vehicle?
The transmission's got 226,000.
Yeah, 226.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you got some
Borderline.
risk involved in just in doing a total fluid exchange. You may, with it doing what it's doing, you would even if it fixed it, you may be buying time since it started acting up like that.
Right.
They may be correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just thought maybe if I got the valve body replaced or gone through it might help.
Yeah, I'm worried you'd spend a lot of money and still end up needing a transmission in the long run.
That's right.
You may, I recommend, unfortunately, I'd recommend transmission. Okay, and I hope that answered that question.
Yeah.
Because we had to go. We are out of time right now, and the time clock's on E. We need to pull over for now, but we'll be back on the road in no time. I'm Aaron Clements with co-host John Ryan Mooney. Our show producers is Zach Llewellyn, Bo Roberts, Dominic Frito, and Sandy Klein. And we would see you again soon on the CNC Auto Show.